Namaste everyone. Welcome to Hyenr Green Energy Podcast, where we bring powerful conversation on sustainability, clean energy, and the innovations shaping India's future. Today's episode is extremely special. We have with us S Srinivas ji, one of the most respected voices in India's green building movement. He served as a principal advisor at CII, leading the green building division for more than 25 years, and has been guiding force for industries, policymakers, and professionals across India. Srinivasji has dedicated nearly 4 decades to sustainability and energy efficiency. Sir, it's an absolute honor to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Ajay.
Yes, sir.
I'm really excited to be part of this program.
Same here, sir. So, your presentation, Sustainability as a Table Stake, has resonated with so many people. And today we want to take these insights to every homeowner, business owner, and young professional in India. So let's
Sure.
begin by understanding the basics.
Yeah, Ashish and all my friends, this presentation is basically to sensitize people in terms of why sustainability is so important today. Now, probably 30, 40 years back, we weren't so serious about this. We used to talk about energy efficiency and water efficiency, but today, sustainability, which compasses all kinds of resources that Mother Earth gives us, is what we are going to talk about today. So, shall I go ahead, Ashish?
So, sir, I will just ask questions, sir. Why do you say sustainability is not optional anymore, but a basic prerequisite for life and development?
Yes, it was an option maybe several decades back. But today, if you look at sustainable development, the UN is also very serious about this. The UN definition of sustainable development is it says use resources, but don't misuse the resources. Don't use it so much that the future generations will not have those needs. You can see the definition here. I don't want to read it verbatim. But the message is use resources, but very judiciously and cautiously. So the earth has been giving and giving and giving for the last 4 billion years. In fact, earth came 1 billion years after the sun came actually. The sun came about 5 billion years back. The earth came into existence about 4 billion years back. So since 4 billion years, the habitat has been there. The earth has given everything right from the food we eat to the minerals that we need today. You know how countries are fighting for rare earth minerals today. So right from a plant to oxygen to minerals, everything is available on this earth. But unfortunately, what as a human race, what we did is we started misusing it. We started using it for our own greedy kind of ambitions actually. So today, all this has led to what is called as the climate change impacts. In fact, in several cities, we are seeing that the impact of climate change today, where floods are going up, the we are seeing droughts, we are seeing changes in temperatures itself in various cities, etc. So, if sustainable development is not part of your design consideration, then the business will not be sustainable. That is the understanding that people have today. Therefore, I think the industry has now started saying that if sustainability is not there in your agenda, then you are stupid actually. So I think we have come a long way in the 30, 40 years to come to this kind of a realization. Though we should have started our journey back, but nevertheless, today I'm happy that today people are looking at this. Ashish.
Yeah, so true, sir. So, sir, there is a perception that India's population is a burden. But in your talk, you say the opposite, that the population can be a strength. Can you explain how?
See, actually, it depends on how you look at these things, actually. So, in terms of our perspectives, see, we always feel our perspectives are right, but they may not be right. So, for that, you need a high level of awareness to look deep into the issue and see how do we change our perspectives itself. Now, for example, the population that you spoke about, yeah, the general perception was the growing population in India is worrying, and today we have surpassed China also in terms of the population. But the population is one thing which put India in the global map also. So I think if you look at it from a viewpoint of saying, can we celebrate this population? can we see how this population can be used for the betterment of the earth as such, then you will be seeing it in a different paradigm actually. So I think classic example has been our in our own culture. I think when a child is born, we don't say, "Oh my goodness, why the child is born? I need to provide all the resources, etc." We celebrate the arrival of a child. So in fact, the Indian population has put the IT sector on the international map, has put the whole country on the international map, and it is the people which have made the difference. Today, you are walking in other countries in the streets of Washington or Dubai or Singapore. Any Indian walking, people invariably feel he is an IT person, actually, though you may not be an IT person. So that is the kind of impact that the Indian population has made. So I think similarly, there is a potential for us to do a lot of things on sustainability so that people, once somebody sees an Indian, they see you as an ambassador of preserving Earth and its resources, actually. So you can also see it from this perspective, the population. See, anthropologists who work on the population of the insects, etc., they estimate that the Earth has got about 10 quadrillion ants of 12,000 species. See, quadrillion is 10 to the power of 6 is a million, 10 to the power of 9 is a billion, 10 to the power of 12 is a trillion, and 10 to the power of 15 is a quadrillion. So even if you take the mass of one ant as 1 gram, the biomass of all the ants put together on this earth will be greater than the biomass of 6.5 people who are populating it. Ants have a sustainable way of living. So why can't humans also create habitats wherein it doesn't disturb the Mother Earth? I think if you look at it from this perspective, then every one of us will see how to bring in sustainability in everything that we do, especially the dwellings, the offices, the homes that we build, etc., etc. So I think there's a lesson here to be learned from the ants, and also you can see how tiny we are when compared to all the living things that are inheriting the earth. See, they say the total weight of all the living things on this Mother Earth is about 550 gigatons. A gigaton is a billion ton, actually, billion ton. But if you look at this figure, almost about plants and animals, they occupy about 450 gigatons. Out of the 550 gigatons, bacteria is about 70 gigatons. But if you look at animals, it's about 2 gigatons. But if you look at human beings, it's only about zero point 0.06 gigatons. That means of all the living things on this earth, we are nothing actually. We are not even a small speck in the whole paradigm actually. So the earth is only for us, and we are going ahead with this kind of a perception, which needs to be changed actually. So all this I'm telling to show how insignificant we are on this earth, but we think we are more important than any of the other living things, and we want to use, misuse, and abuse earth. That's what we are doing. Yeah, that is about the population,
Wow,
Ashish.
this is very interesting, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you say not all emissions are bad. Can you explain this perspective? And what
Yes.
practical steps can businesses take to reduce harmful emissions?
Yes. The emissions, you talk to any of our people, they say, oh, emissions are bad in India. We should, there's so much of pollution, etc. But this is a problem that we ourselves have created actually. In nature, if you see, emissions are not bad. In fact, all the 400 gigatons of plants that you saw in the previous slide, they emit only oxygen, which is good for human beings actually. See how much of good they are doing. But for the plants, our very existence on this earth would have been questionable actually. Plants give us oxygen. They take in all that we breathe out. Carbon dioxide that we breathe out is taken by the plants actually. So we also take about 7 to 10 kgs of air per day. And in terms of the water, we take only 3 kgs per day actually. 2 to 3 liters per day, which is also equal to 2 to 3 kgs. In terms of the food, we take less than 1 kg per day. But the amount of air that we take is much more than the food and the water. You can live without food for some days, you can live without water for some days, but without air, you can't even live for a second. So emissions, we are also emitting carbon dioxide continuously. But the unfortunate thing is, in trying to generate more and more energy for our existence to cater to the very high living standards of the people, we are emitting too much actually. We are emitting too much more than the earth and the atmosphere that can take actually. For example, if you see about 30 billion tons of CO2 is released into the atmosphere every year. And actually, if you look at If you look at the density of carbon dioxide, it is extremely low. Therefore, you can imagine how much of carbon dioxide we are releasing actually. So, how do we bring down this 30 billion tons of CO2? That is a challenge that we are facing today. So today we have reached a stage where in 1970s, when there was an energy crisis because people didn't have oil and there is no way that you can generate your own energy. So people used to ask how much of oil is left for human consumption. But today the question has reversed. Even if you have oil, are we in a position to burn it? Because if you burn it, you will create more and more of CO2, which will ultimately be a disaster for the human race itself. So emissions as such is not bad because you are also emitting. I and you are also emitting CO2 on a continuous basis. But to meet our living standards, the quantum of CO2 that we are emitting has been increasing and increasing. We are not able to have a control over that. That is why today you see all the impacts of climate change is because of the CO2 that we are emitting actually. Yeah, Ashish,
Yes.
this is
Yes.
regarding the emissions.
Correct, sir. Thank you. So, whenever we hear about water issues, the first question people ask is how long will water last? And
Yes.
is shortage the real problem or is it a mismanagement?
Yes, yes. See, water also has got a similar shift in perception that we need to take actually. See, water, commonly people think water resources are depleting, but it is not so. Water resources are not depleting. The way that we are managing water is an issue actually. So water, we can't think of our life without water. And if you look at the consumption of water, actually water is heavily used in all the products, most of the products that we use. For example, here you can see the embodied water in many of the commonly used products that we use. For example, every cup of coffee that you sip in the morning, it is not just 125 ml, it is equal to almost 130 liters. Right from the stage when you have harvested the plants, the coffee plants, to the time the coffee is served on your table, about 130 liters of water is spent to serve you 125 ml of coffee actually. So the consumption of water is so high. So also rice also. 1 kg of rice that we cook every day in the house is equal to almost about 2,500 liters of water. So similarly with French fries, you can see 1 kg of French fries will be equal to 1,040 liters of water. One jeans trouser is 8,000 liters of water. A car is about 50,000 liters of water. We are not trying to scare people, but what we are trying to say is anything that you consume in your daily life or anything that you wear on your as the clothing, everything has got water embodied in this. So how well we can use this water, treat this water, recycle this water is what is extremely important today. So, as I said earlier, it's not the problem of availability, it is one of management. See, for example, if you take very large apartments, 90% of the wastewater that comes out of apartments is recyclable actually. In fact, we'll have surplus water also. You can see the figure on the right hand side. In some of the countries, the municipality will treat the wastewater and send it back to houses and commercial complexes for reuse also. They are called as the purple lines. The purple lines that you see here is the wastewater that is being sent to for use by the population actually. So water also, I mean, we can do a lot. In fact, there is a potential to save as much as 2,000 rupees per month on water bills if you recycle the water that is there in the apartment and replace that with the tanker. I mean, that can be a replacement for the tanker water or the municipal water also. You need some small initial investment, but that is worth it so that these communities can also be sustainable actually. Yeah, Ashish.
Yeah. So I think this knowledge is very important. If we educate people, then I think the whole perspective will change.
Yes. So we need to change our paradigms and perceptions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir. So waste management has become a huge challenge nowadays, especially in metro cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi. So
Yes.
what is the root cause and what actually it works?
Yes. Yes. See, waste is another thing that we waste can actually be wealth actually. So our normal perception is we throw the waste out of our compound. Only if my house is clean, that is enough, we say. But that is not the mindset that we should have actually. The mindset should be all our communities deserve to be clean and healthy. So if somebody can think like that, yeah, I think Bangalore has been an excellent example where waste, the handling of waste became a problem about 10 years back. In fact, There is a village called Mandur where we were taking all the waste from the city and dumping it there. But the villagers, even when the chief minister went, you can see the photo there. There was a big uproar actually. People said, "We will not allow you to dump your waste in our village because it is spoiling the very ecosystem of the village actually." So even the people, villagers are also becoming aware of this actually. You can't just take waste and dump wherever you want. So what happened was in Bangalore about 10 years back, they said once you segregate the waste, we'll collect it. So people used to segregate and hand it over to the person who collects the waste. But that person didn't have the enough awareness into why we are separating the waste. So he used to mix it again and take it. So the purpose was lost. But only since the past 4 or 5 years, I think the waste from the domestic sector is being separated as wet waste and dry waste. And there are separate vehicles coming in to collect dry waste and wet waste. So I think if the waste is not segregated, there is nothing that you can do with the waste. But if the waste is segregated as dry waste and wet waste, you can do wonders actually. Now, for example, 1 year of organic waste that we create in the house is equal to 2 LPG cylinders, actually. So much of calorific value is there in that waste, actually. So, thanks to our rack pickers. Rack pickers used to collect all the waste and they used to collect almost 1 lakh tons per day and segregate it, sell the useful ones to the vendors, etc., to the manufacturers. But they had added tremendous value in terms of handling this waste. So I think waste, please don't see waste as a waste. Waste can be wealth actually. You can create bricks, you can create furniture out of this, you can create power out of waste, you can do wonders with waste, you can create energy through waste. So waste is not actually waste. Waste can be converted into useful forms of materials and energy also.
True. Yeah, sir. My next question is this is very especially relevant for us at Hyenr. Many people say कि solar के लिए जगह नहीं है.
Yes,
कि renewable energy is very difficult to install because of the space constraint. So
yes.
is the space truly a limitation or is it an innovative problem?
Yes, no, very good question. Very good question, Ashish.
Yeah.
So, it's not only, so you sit in any meetings and talk to even some of the CEOs, immediately the answer is we don't have space. But today things are changing. Today things are changing. You can see the picture on the right hand side where BIPVs have been installed, building integrated photovoltaics. And space is actually not a constraint. Actually, it depends on the way that we look at this problem. And in fact, you'll be surprised. All the energy that we need today, India needs about 450,000 megawatts of equivalent energy. If I am required to produce all this energy only through solar, I will still be occupying only 8% of India's land mass.
That's very less.
Yes. So nobody can say there is no space. And to create space, a lot of innovations have happened in the architectural side also, where your western panels can be BIPVs, your southern panels can be BIPVs, where you get the maximum solar intensity. Your roof can be BIPVs. So there are buildings which are working on such concepts actually. And actually, the solar efficiency has also undergone a drastic change in the last 20 years. So about 20 years back, we used to talk about efficiencies of 12%, 13%. But today we are talking about 20%, 22% actually. So today there are bifacial solars which can generate on both sides of the face and energy consumption can be increased drastically actually. So space is actually not a constraint. It is only our mental block there actually. With the innovations coming in from, I think everybody should be open to it. I think the architectural community, the building community, the owners who do the buildings, I think they have to see this in a different paradigm where solar energy can just power the earth just by itself actually. It has got so much of power actually. So I think, and not only in terms of the space, also in terms of the cost, it has undergone a paradigm shift. See, about 20 years back, we installed solar PVs at about 3 lakhs per kilowatt. But today, it's available for 50,000 rupees per kilowatt. So, as more and more people embrace solar energy, the cost of solar panels also will come down actually. It's a question of demand and supply. Where the more the demand and more the manufacturing, the cost of production also will come down. I think solar is an excellent opportunity for India to become net zero by 2047. That is the vision of the government of India. So I think solar has got a big role to play here, and each one of us should consciously, I think, we should go ahead with solar and see that all these constraints which are in the mind, I think they have to be unlocked and they have to be deblocked actually. So I think solar is an excellent alternative option for India.
Correct. And even Indian government also supporting a lot in terms of subsidy for
Yes,
housing society. They are giving up to 90 lakhs for 500 kilowatt. Their common,
subsidy,
yeah.
absolutely,
For residential also 78,000 rupees. So,
absolutely. So
any,
I think we have to capitalize on that actually. I think
yes,
the next two decades would be the decades of solar actually.
yeah. So for our audience, like homeowners and factory owners, builders, youth, what are the three simple actions they can take today to live more sustainably?
I think, see, first is we have to change the way that we look at these problems. See, if you keep looking at it as problems, it will never be solved. There are solutions to this. World over, people are working on this. And what is required now is act, and we have to act now, actually. So don't wait for all the fossil fuels to get depleted and then say, oh, can I do solar now? I think that will not happen, actually. Yeah, that's why the India government has started much earlier, and the vision for 2047 is to become net zero in terms of energy, waste, and water, actually. Be careful with the trees. In fact, trees we worship with reverence, actually. So don't destroy the trees, don't destroy the animal species because they are part of the ecosystem. And you saw how significant human beings are in that graph that I showed you earlier also. So I think the time is now to act and let us follow our grandmother's wisdom. Do not dig the well when you are thirsty. We should have done it much before. So time to act on solar, time to act on various other resources like water, etc. is now. And now people should everything that I do, every action or activity that I do, I should see how I can really save on these resources and preserve these resources for the future generations.
Yeah. And finally, sir, if there is one message you want India to remember about sustainability, what would it be?
Yeah, it is actually sustainability is extremely important for us, no matter what you are, whether you're an IT guy or you are a person working on mission tools or you're a person working in a factory. For everybody, I think sustainability is actually important. So it should get into the DNA of ourselves and look at sustainability in whatever activity we are in, whatever sphere of activity that we are in. So only then I think India as such will become a really sustainable nation in terms of environment by 2047. So time is here to act in whatever little you can do. Even switching off a light is also sustainability. Suppose I am not in the room, I switch off the light. That is also leads to sustainable development. So whatever little we can do, we should do it. That is the message.
Thank you so much, Srinivas ji,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
for sharing such a
Thank
deep insights with our audience. And conversations like this are essential to build greener and cleaner India. From all of us at Hyenr, thank you for inspiring us. To everyone watching, follow Hyenr and subscribe Hyenr's YouTube channel for more conversation on green energy, and share this episode with someone who cares about sustainability, and stay tuned for more expert insights. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you for the opportunity
Thank you,
to
sir.
share my thoughts. Thank you. Bye bye.